The body found in a trunk in Riverside has been identified as the missing man from the Christmas Eve murders at the Mission Valley Mall. News since our report at 6 o'clock, we may know why he ended up so far away. The medical examiner says Gianni Belvedere was also murdered. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. 10 News broke the story this morning on our smartphone app, and 10 News reporter Allison Ash is now live with the clues about a possible motive. Allison.
Yes, San Diego police homicide detectives came here to Mario's restaurant in Lakeside today looking for clues because both Belvedere brothers actually worked here. But a former special agent in the FBI told me today the answers may be in Riverside. Gianni Belvedere's body was found after someone smelled a foul odor coming from the trunk of his car, parked in a Riverside parking lot. It came less than a month after his brother Sal and fiancée Ilona Flint were gunned down in a Mission Valley mall. Investigators aren't saying how Gianni Belvedere was killed, but a former FBI special agent says if he was tortured, that will tell police a lot.
Well, the best guess here is that the Belvederes got crosswise with somebody, that they either owed money, drugs, or something else to them. And they weren't going to take it any longer, and they decided to take them out.
Brad Garrett says the killers may have left Gianni's body in their own territory.
Well, Riverside County is probably going to be the link to the bad guys, not to Gianni. Bad guys typically drop cars in the proximity of where they hang out because they know it. It's familiar to them. So is there a connection as far as the shooters are concerned? My guess is the answer is yes.
Homicide detectives here at home today questioned people at Mario's Italian restaurant in Lakeside, where both Belvederes worked. A Team 10 investigation showed the brothers and their families had financial problems, but investigators won't say whether those problems could be a factor in their deaths.
Is it a front for something else? Who knows? But there's something not right with this puzzle, and that's what the detectives had to get to.
People here at the restaurant aren't talking, and an uncle of the Belvederes in Utah told me over the phone today that the family is now there. They're all in Provo, and they're getting through this together, but right now they don't have any comment. Police tomorrow will hold a news conference here in San Diego to talk about the case. You can count on 10 News to give you all the details. We're live in Lakeside. Allison Ash, 10 News.
This is a complicated case. It all started here in Mission Valley on December 24th. Ilona Flint and Salvador Belvedere were shot at the mall. Flint managed to call 911 minutes before she died at the scene. December 26th, police asked for help locating her fiancé and Salvador's brother, Gianni Belvedere, missing since the shooting. On December 27th, we learned Salvador Belvedere died. Fast forward to last Friday, the investigation moved north to Riverside, where Gianni's car was found, a decomposing body in the trunk. And of course, today, Riverside police confirmed Gianni's ID and ruled his death a homicide.
He called himself assassin on one of his cell phones and left damning evidence linking him to 3 murders.
After 2 days of testimony in the Christmas Eve murders that shocked San Diego, Carlo Mercado has been ordered to stand trial. 10 News reporter Allison Ash is joining us, and Allison, there was a DNA link as well.
Yeah, but that DNA evidence was only found next to the body of Gianni Belvedere. Here in court today, Carlo Mercado's attorney argued that the evidence was thin, connecting Mercado to the deaths of 2 other young people at the Mission Valley Mall on Christmas Eve. The judge, however, did not agree. Carlo Mercado looked down through most of this second day of testimony against him. As we learned, it was his DNA found on a Febreze bottle next to the body of Gianni Belvedere. His body was found stuffed in the trunk of his car 3 weeks after his brother Sal and fiancée Ilona Flint were gunned down on Christmas Eve in a mall parking lot. A forensics expert who studied one of Mercado's cell phones dropped the first bombshell of the day.
What was listed on the calendar for December 24th of 2013?
On that date, there was a single entry, R.I.P.
The next bombshell came when we learned about another of Mercado's phones.
There was an iPhone 1 that had the device name and display name of Assassin.
And on his computer, evidence of a search for a particular type of movie.
They all had to do with like hitman or assassin type characters.
We learned one of the loaded guns found in his car in January was the one used to kill all three, but there was no evidence Mercado pulled the trigger.
I think what this court's left with is more questions than answers.
But the judge had heard enough. She ordered Carlo Mercado to stand trial on all three murders. And when the victims' family members left court here today, you could see they had tears in their eyes. They did not want to stop and talk with us. Now, if convicted in those three murders, Carlo Mercado could face the death penalty. We're live downtown. Allison Ash, 10 News.
A doctor says this man accused of the Christmas Eve murders at Westfield, Mission Valley is not mentally competent to stand trial. Carlo Mercado is charged with killing Sal and Gianni Belvedere and Gianni's fiancée, Ilona Flint. As 10 News reporter Marie Cornell explains, the prosecutor asked for a week to decide if he's going to push for a jury trial or accept the doctor's report.
Showing very little emotion, Carlo Mercado just stared as the results of his competency hearing were released. A county psychiatrist believes Mercado is not competent enough to stand trial. After hearing this, the prosecutor asked the judge for a week continuance as he sorts through the details of the report and figures out where to go next with the case. Mercado is accused of murdering Ilona Flint and brothers Sal and Gianni Belvedere. Though the prosecutor wouldn't go into details of the report, in Mercado's last court appearance, we learned more about his interests. There is evidence that links Mercado to watching movies about hitmen. He had a cell phone that had a display name of The Assassin, and on his cell phone calendar, on the date of the murders, R.I.P. Today, we asked the prosecutor about a motive or how Mercado knew the three victims. We were told they're still working on it, even though a search warrant states Mercado and the victims had a history of drug use. The prosecutor says the big question right now is whether Mercado has changed since he was arrested.
There's a time delay here, and these murders occurred in December, and he wasn't arrested until June, and this is happening now. So the ultimate question is whether he is competent to stand trial now. So, we have 6 months of behavior where he was in society working, coping, and doing fine. So it wasn't until he was arrested that this behavior came out.
I also asked the prosecutor if the victims' family members knew about the results of the report. I am told they did find out. He says they are concerned, but they know this is going to be a long process. From downtown, Marie Cornell, 10 News.